In our life, I think because we are such a close-knit, my three sisters, my mom, she was the visionary who felt like I should take what my father did, not go waste my time in schooling and college and everything. And she was completely opposite to what other parents would think. It stunned me. I was too young to realize that. And he was suffering. And when people suffer, you feel like you feel like a sense of relief for them rather than, like you lost them. My sound engineer who died, like Sridhar, died in heart attack. That hit us harder than what my mother went through for 8 years suffering and then passed away. When she passed away, we felt good for her. She almost said that, I don't want to suffer more, please let me go.
A lot of times, a lot of things are also, because in the social media world, a lot of things are also written. How do you deal with all of that as a family when it comes to, does it get to you ever?
If I say about somebody's family, somebody's going to say about my family. And we all Indians believe that. And nobody's going to say unnecessary stuff. Because everybody has a sister, everybody has a wife, everybody has a mother. And I believe that. And I also even feel like somebody says that, I say, please God forgive them. Maa Tujhe Salam is one of the songs which we did with a lot of love. Some of the directors I worked with that time, I played the song to them and they looked at me as though they attended a funeral. So like, yeah. And then walked out. I said, maybe he doesn't like the song. I said, no, it doesn't match your voice. People like Deepa Mehta ji, she came in, I said, play the song. And I went out and I came in and she was weeping. I was working with an agent. And I told him, Danny Boyd has come to me. And he said, don't work with this. This person works with 4 different composers and he'll throw out, if he doesn't like, he'll throw out the music. I said, but he didn't seem like, he said, in a lot of respect, there was so much of love in his eyes when he gave me the DVD. So I said, okay, maybe what he says is true. But what if I don't tell one? And what if he fires me and nobody knows?
Are you proud of your daughter? Because I think she is. She gives it back in the most politest but the most correct way. When anything, like anybody.
And she's got her own fan following.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is I'm not qualified to even fight with her.
Well, I'm from Calcutta and Kolkata, as people would say. And it was 2009, if I'm not mistaken. Sir will correct us if I'm wrong. And I had gone to meet him as a cub reporter for Telegraph in schools. And he was really warm because he's a legend. He was a legend then, he's a legend still. And even after that, multiple times that I've met him, I've only sensed so much of warmth and passion in him. So without further ado, welcoming AR Rahman sir in conversation with me only on my channel, Nayansense. Thank you so much, sir.
So, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Good, tell me.
Sir, how do you manage? Like, you are a living legend, but I'm 32. No, you are. For a lot of us. In this room, I think for every one of us. At 17 when I met you versus today at 32 when I meet you, you have the same amount of simplicity. Sometimes when you're so popular and when you're so loved, it can get to your head. How do you manage to let stardom and entitlement not play in your head? What's the secret?
I know people tell me I'm simple. I don't know what.
You are, sir.
I'm simple? Okay. So, maybe I should learn to be complicated? No,
no sir, there is enough complication.
I think it comes from your upbringing. And initially, I never used to even talk. I'm coming from Chennai, South India. I think it's inherent for some of us. And for me, trying to be a spiritual person, you always feel like, will the blessing of music be there tomorrow? Will my health be there tomorrow? And so you respect and you honor and you celebrate every moment of your life, and that makes you humble.
Yeah. You spoke about health. I would have come to it much later. Recently, a lot of fans actually know that you were going through a health crisis. How are you feeling right now?
I'm okay.
Was there ever a scare?
No, you're never scared about things. It's just that you're only scared about old age, where that's the worst. But I think I was fasting and I was suddenly they made me vegetarian. And so I was traveling and I was fasting. You're not supposed to fast while traveling. So all of them ended up in a kind of dehydration and gastric kind of thing. But then I was in 3 hours out.
Oh, lovely.
Just to check, it was a false alarm.
Oh, sir, you spoke about upbringing. Whenever I come to meet you, I go through your old interviews because there's so much in it. And if you know that there are pages which actually publish your interviews from the 90s, and they're amazing. Like it's gold. I remember, I just read it again. In one of the interviews, you said somebody asked you about being popular and earning so much money, and you said, unlike other people, you actually said that money is important for me. Money will always be important, and if I am good at something, I'll of course ask for a price that I want to. Do you think the value? But you've always valued money. Do you think the sense of value came from not having it maybe when you were growing up, like to build that empire from the time when you have seen such troubled times and difficult times financially when you were growing up?
No, I never felt I had financial trouble, but there was always like your ambition and you want to buy more. Actually, we all, as musicians, we all want to buy the best gear.
Yeah.
And the best gear is always more than what you think it is. Like whether the mixer or it's a keyboard or, you build a studio. And then you say like, man, that person, a composer gets more money, so let's be a composer. It's one of the reasons why I became a composer.
Oh, lovely.
So that I can buy more gear, build a studio, and get the best mics and give it back to the art, I think. And also, people don't value when you undersell yourself. People, because they look at how you value yourself.
Yeah.
And that way you can reduce the number of work and have more quality. So that was the beginning.
You started off at a really, really young age. You were inclined towards music. Your father and you were like, he's the reason why you had inclination towards music, if I'm not mistaken. But you lost him at a very, very early age. And then you had to take responsibility of the entire house. How difficult were those days when you were there?
There's a very different kind of difficulty. It's not about, when you're a kid, you don't understand what you go through. You think life is like that.
Yeah.
Unless you compare yourself with somebody else's life.
Yeah.
In our life, I think because we are such a close-knit, my 3 sisters, my mom, she was the visionary who felt like I should take what my father did, not go waste my time in schooling and college and everything. And she was completely opposite to what other parents would think. It stunned me. In fact, that's one decision she took. I built a memorial, a peace garden for her, because I think she deserved that for the courage to take the decision with an instinct which is not normal for any mothers to.
Yeah. But how difficult was it at that point when you were so young and you lost the person who inspired you to take up music, which is your father?
I was too young to realize that. And he was suffering. And when people suffer, you feel like you feel like a sense of relief for them rather than, like you lost them. When you lose somebody in an accident or something, then you feel like my sound engineer who died, like Sridhar, died in a heart attack. That hit us harder than what my mother went through for 8 years suffering and then passed away. When she passed away, we felt good for her. Like she almost said that, I don't want to suffer more, please let me go, And then we didn't know what to pray for. And we just like, you left it to God, like whatever is good for her.
Yeah.
So life is complicated. I mean, but when you see what other people are going through, mine is nothing. Yeah.
You've always spoken so highly about your mother, and now I realize because when you're passionate about something which is like, music is a passion. It's like a hobby. It's usually never considered to be an occupation, especially back in the day. And having supportive family members who believe in your vision is so important. And I know of so many of my friends who are just engineers or doctors just because their family wants them to. They also couldn't pursue their passion. How important was it for you to have such a supportive set of family? Because I think the family's love language, whether it's your mom, dad, or your family, I think has always been like the freedom to choose and maybe, like just acceptance.
Yeah. I think it comes from a spiritual upbringing or, being in that zone where you respect feelings, you respect the kind of freedom and, the freedom to choose. And as a musician, because I've traveled so much, traveling teaches you a lot because you mix with so many different cultures, families, and you see the West, you see, all that stuff. It changes you as a person. When you are in a village, nothing bad about it, but you are in this small town mentality. You expand when
resources are also limited.
Yeah. You travel and then you see what is the ultimate destination of life? It is happiness and, it is giving, not taking. And how much can you give? How much can you take? How much can you be strong? How much can you be flexible?
Yeah.
These are the choices we make. How can you behave in the most extreme situations so that you don't feel bad about it? We were all pushed to extreme situations.
Absolutely.
How much human are you in that situation? How much can you flex? How much you should not?
You know, the best thing is that my mother always says that you can be less talented, you can be less successful, but at the end, when you pass away, what matters is whether people come to your grave and say, he's a good person. And that's what is the
It
most...
doesn't matter. After you that, who's going to come and check?
But it's important to be good.
For the family member, yes.
Yeah. But I want to ask you this, that when I read this interview of yours again, it's in the 90s, when Roja happened, before and right after Roja happened, there were many articles written about you where a lot of your peers actually said that a lot of people didn't believe in the kind of music you were creating. As a young person, not knowing that you're gonna be where you are today and having like concerts and people like going for it, what went through your mind? Like, how did you deal with all of that?
It's strange because as a young person, there are two kinds of life. One is, I want that and you get it. One is, I want that, it never comes to you. And then you say, I don't need it, and then it comes to you. Then when it's taught in a very spiritual way, in your life, incidents happen that way, then you start craving for things. Like, I need it, but if it comes to me, it's fine. If it doesn't come to me, it's fine.
Yeah.
So you are in that state. And, I bought some equipments, and that whole incident on 3 months taught me how to be in a Zen mode. It's like somebody training you in hardcore, like this, doing Hunger Games. And that happened, and then when Maniji came to me first, I said, what if he goes away? He's coming, what if he doesn't like? So let me hold my horses, and I'll do my best, but I'm not going to think that he's going to come, he's going to stay, he might throw me off and go. But it didn't happen. So he was just so loving, like a brother, guider, like a mentor and all the stuff. And so then you realize you're going with that stuff. Because I never, for me, I feel like, not superstitious, I feel like I should never knock at anybody's door. My work should bring them to me. Otherwise, it's fine. I don't need it. I'm not a person who would send them, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
Let's meet up. You know what? I think you should come and check my studio. I'll play all the stuff I've done. It's never been that, unfortunately. I feel like if it's good enough, people are going to come.
Yeah.
And if you're not good enough, I think they'll find it unworthy and so they won't come, right?
But when you still do a concert like this, which is the Wonderment tour, do you still feel as anxious, as nervous as were you ever anxious and nervous even when you first?
I think what happened was, those days when I was doing concerts, we never used to rehearse much because I was so busy.
Yeah.
We rehearsed one day before, and sometimes the singers come on the wrong cue, so it was like death for me.
Yeah.
And it's like dreading, okay, please come, he's come 2 bars late. What? Because everything was time coded.
Absolutely.
Right? And now I think what happened was, after meeting Ranjit Barod and a whole new team in 2015, my whole team was like locked in with such great talent and energy, is that I felt like I'm going to my living room and I'm singing for friends. So that attitude came in. And it was never there before.
Yeah.
It was used to be, what's going to happen? Will the stage be on? This will be on? And slowly I started taking step backwards. If this doesn't happen, we'll pull out. If this doesn't happen. So there was strong, even though you keep all the strength, something failed. But this helped me to realize the joy of going for a tour.
Looking back at your career and your life, is there anything that you would like to do differently?
No.
Nothing. One song that you feel like you were not sure of, but it got a lot of love. Do you remember any of that? Like you thought that, chal jata hai, but it became like a huge success and it kind of shocked or surprised you?
Well, I think Maa Tujhe Salam is one of the songs which we did with a lot of love.
Yeah.
And, some of the directors I worked with that time, I played the song to them. I came from London.
Yeah.
And they looked at me as though they attended a funeral. I said like, yeah. And then walked out. I said, maybe he doesn't like the song. I said, no, it doesn't match your voice. This is not the kind of thing which you should be doing. Literally, people came with that. And then alternate set of people like Deepa Mehta ji, she came in. I said, play the song, and I went out and I came in and she was weeping. And then there was Vijay Singh of Sony. I played the song. Usually I'm there. So I come back in and he was weeping. I said, man, this is so extreme. Two different kind of reactions.
True.
And I didn't know how to judge. Then I saw the video, which Bala and Kanika directed. And I said, like, this is vague. This looks like a National Geography meets music video. And then that became a rage.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of innovative things which I was not sure of. But then everything was done with pure intentions, whether it's Bharat Bala or whether it was me or Mehboob writing the lyrics. And I didn't know, we knew that sincerely we put all the energy, we knew that it kind of thought that it'll stand the test of time, but it's already now 27 years.
Yeah, that's true. What a legacy. Is it true, tell me, correct me if I'm wrong, I read it somewhere, that you at one point felt like when you were composing for Slumdog Millionaire that you won't be able to do justice to it and you'll be fired from...
No, not like that. So...
And look at what has happened.
No, I was working with an agent and I told him, like, Danny Boyle has come to me and he said, don't work with this. This person works with 4 different composers and he'll throw out, if he doesn't like, he'll throw out the music. I said, but he didn't seem like, he said, a lot of respect, he just, there was so much of love in his eyes when he gave me the DVD. So I said, okay, maybe what he says is true, but what if I don't tell one? And what if he fires me and nobody knows? Wow. So I fully worked on it, thinking that he's not going to use it. And then I get this call from him, the same agent, saying, hey, you done Danny Boyle? I said not to do it. But you know what? Everybody's loving your music, so let me go, increase the PR and everything. And so he called me again. So it was funny.
Yeah.
So nobody knew. They thought I was doing a documentary.
Yeah. Lastly, because we started with your upbringing with your mom and dad, the kind of value system that you have gotten from them, you've passed it on and you've actually given it to your kids as well, like your entire family. When I say that your family has been one of those families whose love language has been acceptance, right? A lot of times, a lot of things are also, because in the social media world, a lot of things are also written. How do you deal with all of that as a family when it comes to you? Does it get to you ever? You, your kids, your daughter?
No, I think the choice of being in public life is intentional.
Yeah.
And so not everybody will have everybody gets reviewed.
Yeah.
Whether it's, the richest person or even a god gets reviewed. Yeah. So who am I?
Yeah.
So as long as we stay together and we are not conceited or we are not, toxic to even the people who, because they all family. See, the thing is karma. If I say about somebody's family, somebody's going to say about my family.
Yeah.
And we all Indians believe that. And nobody's going to say unnecessary stuff.
Yeah.
Because everybody has a sister.
Yeah.
Everybody has a wife. Everybody has a mother. And I believe that. And I also even feel like somebody says that, I said, please God forgive them and get them into the right thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But are you proud of your daughter? Because I think she is. She gives it back in the most politest but the most correct way. When anything, like anybody.
And she's got her own fan following.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the problem is I'm not qualified to even fight with her. She sent me like 2-page email saying, Daddy, you this. See that, but you don't say that I love you, I trust you and all this. You just listen to and you admire both of them sending that articulate emails. I think it should be a book of my letters to dad.
Yeah. But thank you so much, sir, because I think to be in your position and then also being the person that you are, it takes a lot of courage and a lot of niceness and kindness within and empathy within to many years of success, many decades of success. May you continue being the legend till I have grand kids, and also keep entertaining and gifting us amazing music, because you've made the nation proud on global platforms and nobody can deny that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, very kind. God bless you.
Thank you.